What's up, guys? We are here. Welcome back to another episode of Path to Pro. We've got Nate. Nate, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm all good, man. I was waiting to see, when we were getting this thing started. I was
I
like, what the
know.
heck's going on?
I know. As all of our fans and viewers know, we hate being late. We always try to be on time. We had everything set up. Nate's been here for an hour, but we did run into some technical difficulties. So if you're watching this live, we sincerely apologize. Spence has been working hard in the background. But let me know in chat. If you're here, drop a 1. I want to see some 1s flooding in chat. Something going on?
No, we're good.
We're good. We're good.
I just can't believe everything that was just going on, man.
Right.
Like, oh,
We're here.
But we're good, and we are talking about off-ball defense. So we're done with the intro. I see the 1s in chat. If you guys are watching later on YouTube, we appreciate all of you as well. Nate, on-ball defense, we're talking about your stick, we're talking about your IQ, and your decision-making right now.
Right.
Before we jump into the clips you sent me, are there any keys that you think about when you're playing on-ball defense?
Yeah, so I think you have to break it down to about, I would say, 3 or 4 different things when you're trying to actually, play on-ball defense. You guys good? Can you
Yeah,
guys hear
you're
me?
good. Keep going. Keep
I'm
rolling.
good. Okay. All right. I don't know if it froze or something. So I would say, number one, every single possession, no matter what, you want to know what type of press you're going to get into. So if that's, a tight press, a loose press, if you're sort of just like escorting, the ball handler up the court, I think you need to know that every single possession. So that's number one. You need to know what type of press you're going to do. And that can change throughout the game, and we'll get into some of that later. But that's number one. Number two, you want to know if you're going to play over or under the screen. So what that means is if you're playing over the screen, that means you're going to play a little bit closer towards the half court line. And if you're playing under it, that means you're playing a little bit closer towards the basket. And this can vary, depending on if the point guard or the person that you're guarding is a shooter. If he's, if he likes to get downhill a lot, if he's a driver, so that stuff can sort of depend. But I would say that's number 2. And then number 3, and probably most importantly, I would say, is always trying to communicate with obviously your teammates, but most importantly, your center. So, whoever you're guarding the pick and roll with, you need to be on the same page with each other. And for example, in these clips, I'm with Rondo. We're not necessarily always talking to each other because we've played with each other for so long. But right when you're getting, starting to play with somebody, you really need to know what they want to do and how they can help you, when to step up, when not to step up. So, we'll get into some more of that, but I would say those are the 3 starter tips right there.
Perfect. I'm with you. I'm on board. Comms are key. We know that. So if you can communicate with your teammates, make sure you do. If you're playing solo and rec or park, it might be a little more difficult, but if you can communicate, make sure you do. Without further ado, I'm going to flick it over here to PC mode so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Nate's picked out a couple clips to illustrate what he's thinking and what he's actually doing stick-wise and button-wise as he's playing defense on ball. So Nate, I'll let it just play through one time. I'm going to turn it up a little bit so people can maybe hear the comms, but I'll let you just talk through the play. We can slow it down, speed it up, and just roll from there. Okay?
For sure. Yeah.
Here we
Let's
go.
do it. Yeah, so already right here you can see, okay, there's only 10 seconds. You can pause it right there. We can get into some stuff right there. So
Okay.
if you want to back it up just a little bit. So there's 11 seconds left on the clock. I'll go through this really quick, I promise. There's 11 seconds left. I don't want a full out press. I see too many people doing this, and I can even do it sometimes when I make mistakes. You never want a full out press when there's only, when the shot clock is turned off, or when there's like 15, 14, 12, 11 seconds left, because if you get beat on that press, you're done. So maybe show them a little half press, but you're going to see I'm not going to meet them all the way at the baseline. I'm going to try to meet them about halfway, just to get a little bit of pressure in, but not too much where I feel like I can get beat.
Okay, so 11 on the shot clock, or excuse me, on the game clock here.
And you'll just see me run straight back. I don't even want to risk trying to get a bump early, and you can pause it right here again.
Okay.
So after we got like the press part down, we're on to, okay, this is half court defense. We know it's a little bit more situational because they have 7 seconds left. But even if this was 24-second shot clock, I would have still played this the exact same way. So what's going through my head right now is I see that Bash, that's my teammate on the hash, in the black jersey, he's sort of cheating a little bit off that wing. So I'm like, okay, I have some help towards that wing. So I want to actually take away the point guards outside right here. And in 2K20, I'm sure most of you guys know, it's really, really difficult to stop the behind the back, especially when, somebody's trying to set screens and when they're trying to like set big bodies. It's really tough to stop the behind the back. Eventually, if a point guard has enough stamina, they'll get past you. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to actually stand just towards the left of the screen. I'm not trying to fight through the screen, because I think that's what a lot of people do, and they'll try to fight through. That's great, but eventually you're going to get caught.
Yep.
If you can communicate with your teammates where you'll just sort of stand in one area and then they'll sort of stand in the other, you can just kind of create like a little box. You see Rondo's at the top because the big is at the top. He's not rolling. Bash is allowed to cheat off that wing, and then so we're literally it's like a little triangle. We're putting them in a little triangle, and there's nothing he can do. You can keep playing it. So he'll do again, and watch, behind the back comes, and I'm already there in perfect position to stop the behind the back. At this point, hands up. They have 2 seconds left. I get a little screen, and they got to get up a tough shot. They don't make it. So I think that's an example of really well-sound defense all the way from press through the half-court defense, through playing off my teammates until the end of the shot clock.
Awesome. So questions in terms of the stick you're using. So right here, you don't do the all-out press. You're not bumping. Let's say you did, Nate. What are you using on your controller to bump someone, as we like to say in 2K, up the court?
So this year I've been doing it a little bit differently. So I don't have my my left pointer finger on L2, or if you're playing PS4 L2 or left trigger or L2 depending on PS4 or Xbox. I'm just holding the analog sticks, trying to create some contact with him, and then I usually hold turbo to try to keep up with them, usually because the point guard's the fastest player on the court. So you have to try to keep up with them as well as you can. Okay.
And when you say you're using both analogs, are they pressing toward the ball handler most of the time?
That's correct, yeah. So, and that's I think that's the skill when you're trying to get bumps, is that you're not always going to bump the ball handler, because the ball handler can evade you, and then you can get beat by the press. But in this case, yes. And in most cases, you want to flick the analog sticks towards the ball handler to try to create some contact with them.
Perfect. Okay. And then another question here. We'll watch this play out. You're avoiding the screens here when you're getting back. Yes. You know you don't want to put a ton of pressure, like you said, just because it's late game clock here. Now, and we'll talk about this in another clip, but this is what I talk about to add my 2 cents here from my team. There's a strong side on defense, which is where the 2 players are. Usually we play 4 out, 1 in, meaning 4 players around the perimeter and the center playing in the middle. So that automatically has 2 players on one side and 1 player on the other. So strong side, weak side. If you've watched our other Path to Pros, you know that. And Nate does the perfect job, just like he talked about. He forces him toward the help, toward the strong side where Bash can help. Rondo's there to help. This guy, the corner, can rotate up and play 2 in case Bash does cheat here. So outstanding. I love this, Nate. A great example. I don't know. I think it's outstanding. So we'll go ahead, move on. Any other thoughts on that play?
No, I think that was clean defense by everybody, well executed, and that's what it should be if you can get it to that point.
Perfect. If you're watching live in chat, make sure you leave questions down below. We are watching. We will do a short Q&A at the end. Spencer's monitoring the chat here right behind me. So make sure you drop your questions. for sure right now. Okay, Nate, next play. I'm going to put it on 0.5. I like that here.
Sure.
Tell me when to pause, and we'll just get rolling
Yep.
here. So
Yeah.
situation's different, too. Go ahead.
Situation's a little bit different, so I'll sort of jump the gun right here. I won't explain it as long, but this clip, I believe, this is going to be something that you're not going to want to do. Even though you'll see that I end up making a play on it, you don't want to do this. This is what I consider to myself being a bad play and a mental error on my end, something that can't happen. So you'll see, I think that the ball handler on the left is going to get the ball. He doesn't. I chase jumper. At this point, I'm trying to go over. Yeah, we can go from here. That's fine.
So here, and in case people don't know, you anticipated the guy on the left would get the ball. You're
That's
the
correct.
primary
That was wrong.
lock.
Right.
So-
and
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, all you.
yeah, so I was wrong about that. And then I had to, chase jumper. So at that point, that doesn't allow for me to get a press. Now with that being said, real quick, just a little nugget. Depending on teams that you're playing, this can go for anybody out there that's playing lock or, secondary lock, whatever the case is. Whenever you're playing a team, it's not always a bad idea to want to get the ball out of the primary point guard's hands. Let's say I'm playing Fab or Radiant or Bear or Mama or, an elite point guard. To have somebody else bring the ball up and try to make a play, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I'd be lying to you if I said that's what I was exactly going for on this play. I think I just misread it a little bit, but it's not a bad goal to go for.
Okay, let's keep playing here.
So right now, as you see, I'm trying to get it to where I can fight over the screen and take away his three. And me and Rondo have this thing where we play it where I wanted him to step up high to take away that three in case I were to get caught on a screen. And he does. So you'll see Rondo come up, he'll go back, and then he'll come up again because he thinks I might get caught. And then at this point, what I should do, this is where I made the wrong play, is I know that I'm beat. I see Rondo going downhill. I see the point guard going downhill. At this point, it's just best for me to leave Rondo and see if he can make a play at the basket, like get a block or something like that, and I quick switch on to the popping center. That would be the right basketball play, but instead, I end up trying to make a hero play and go for a block, and I actually end up getting it. So I go and I get that block, and that's great, but if that's a super elite point guard right there and he makes that quick pass to the center, that's an easy 3 points, and then we're not saying that was so great of a play after all. So
Perfect. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's talk through mechanics here. One thing we didn't talk about at the very beginning is you did go for a reach here. So you hit X. You knew you
Correct.
probably had enough time to get back, right? And that's why you were pressing a little bit.
yes.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
here you're just holding right trigger. You're probably communicating with, is this Bash here?
Yeah, so me and Bash have a general sense to know that I'll always get whoever brings the ball up. So at this point, after we see that the inbound was passed to somebody else, I'm running over to them.
Okay. You're holding turbo here.
Holding turbo, then I start to hold LT at some point here when I try to fight through screens.
Okay. So are you letting go of turbo and holding left trigger while you're fighting through screens?
So it all depends. Sometimes, yes, I do, and then sometimes I'll hold both at the same time. I think it depends. If I feel like I can get through, I'll hold that RT a little bit more. Otherwise, I'll kind of let it go if I'm trying to force him to a certain side of the court. So it's situational. Right here, I get caught on an early screen, so there's really no time to recover. At this point, I'm all over the place. He's got me moving at this point, right? So that's what you don't want as a lock. You don't want the point guard to be able to move. We get him in that short corner. I'm still kind of fighting through. I'm holding LT, and then that happens.
Okay. So
And then I click Y for the block.
Yeah, and you get it, which
And I get it.
is lucky, but you got chased down on bronze. We already know, right? You got it on bronze.
Yeah.
But I think that's the key for people to remember. Bumping up the court, use your analog sticks, right analog toward the player you're trying to bump, drain their stamina. Nate said if he's fighting through screens, to recap, if he thinks he can get through it, you're holding both at the same time, right? You're holding right trigger to fight
correct.
through and left trigger to be in a stance. If he gets hit or he's not trying to fight through as hard, probably just left trigger and using your analogs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And just one last little nugget. I'm just going to keep putting a point of emphasis on. I think in this 2K, especially for all you guys out there that are playing 2K20, forcing a ball handler towards a certain direction, I think that's the key on this game to get the most stops is trying to force them. You're not going to be fast enough, or your stick, it's really difficult to just take away everything. So at least take away something.
Yep.
And in this play, as you see, I didn't do a great job of taking away something. Again, we got bailed out by a block, but I just think it's important to have that mindset of knowing how to control your stick to where you can try to take away certain things from the point guard.
Perfect. All right. Let's move on to the third and final clip we're going to talk about here. I'm going to set us on 0.5 again. And to set the stage, Nate, looks like you have us three and a half minutes left in the second quarter. Plenty of time on the shot clock at 16.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked this clip because it was a sideline inbound as well. So we showed enough pressing. So we're going to see a little bit how we play the sideline. Me personally, and I'm sure a lot of locks out there, we refer to it as ball side. So you'll hear me say, I got ball side. So what that means is who's ever the point guard or whoever's going to control the ball at the start of that possession, I'm going to guard that guy. And we're going to see how that plays out through the rest of the possession.
Okay, so you have pink fro. That's where you know they're going with the ball.
That's correct. Yep. So he's going to get it. And what's going to happen, I got hands up defense a little bit. I'm holding LT right now. And I'm waiting to see what move I think he's going to make. I think he's going to go middle, but he could very well go wing. So that's why you see, like, the way that you position your body as a lock is very important because that's determining what you want to take away from that point guard. So I'm clearly taking away middle, and I'm actually communicating with Rondo. I'm saying, Rondo, if he goes wing, he's looking to drive. If he goes middle, step up. So we have that sort of predetermined down pat for this possession.
Perfect. And the way we talked about strong side and weak side earlier, as you can see, there really isn't one here because he's so far over on the court. This guy's cut through, so there's a ton of room he could operate. So you don't want to let him go toward the middle in this circumstance. So you always, as a lock and as a teammate, you always have to be communicating, and every possession is different, and you have to be able to think very quickly. 2K is all about IQ.
All
right?
about it. And Cody, I think it's especially like we need to talk about this too. I think how you say like strong side and weak side, always forcing the point guard to the most condensed area on the floor.
Exactly.
You don't want the point guard to get in open space where he can spam behind the backs. And I don't care how good of a lock you are, you're not going to stop it every single possession. You need to try to condense him to. Do you see how the floor is a little bit shrinked right now? Like we want that. And you see, I stay middle. I'm not trying to fight through that screen right now. You can play it. I want to see what keeps happening. So at this point, I'm still staying middle. I get caught under a little bit, try to chase him back. I think, and he got me. So you can rewind a little bit. So when he does this hesitation, pause it. Okay, so when he does that hesitation, I think he's going to hit a behind the back. So I'm trying to anticipate that, but I know that I have Rondo as my help. So I can play that, little mind game. I can say, okay, I think Mai's about to do a behind the back here. So let me anticipate that. And if I get caught in the screen, Rondo's going to step up for me just enough time for me to get back. So I anticipate the behind the back. He doesn't do it. He just keeps going. And look at what Rondo does. This is a great play by him. Shows just enough and then lets me get back. And that's the play. And then they got it. They got to get a tough shot up with 4 seconds left.
Perfect. And that's that high-low we talk about a lot, right? It's
That's
knowing that communication, what you're going to do ahead of time with your center. Rondo knows you're going to force him to that strong side, and if he goes, he takes him, right? And he trusts you to get the pop.
Exactly. And what would have happened if I would have kept going is he could have hit the pop because Rondo was so far in the paint, Rondo couldn't have gotten that pop. Or if he would have hit the behind the back and I guessed right, I guessed wrong, but he hits that behind the back, it's a wide open 3. So I think we played it as perfect as you can play it on this possession.
Perfect. We'll let it play through one more time here. Again, I'll narrate a little bit. Nate takes ball side. He's holding left trigger, right stick up here to see if he can get a little bump animation. He's forcing him to the condensed side here. Lots of space. Let's put him into a tough area, the triangle we talked about. He does eventually come out, which is fine. We have help now. He's anticipating. So look at Nate. He's blocking off one side. Blocking off that one side. Try to behind the back me. Good luck, right?
Yep.
And here's
Correct.
Rondo. Play high-low. Nate plays the pop. Rondo makes him shot fake. That's boxed. Boxed, right? Beautiful.
That's correct. Yeah, that's. I think that's how you have to play it in those situations. And again, I just think the key is to try to force point guards to uncomfortable directions, have good communication with your center, and trust in your stick that you can take away certain things that might make the point guard feel uncomfortable.
Right. Perfect. All right. Are we ready for Q&A, Spencer?
Let's Q&A
Let's
it
do it.
up.
Let's do it.
The first question would be, what's Nate's build?
Nate, what's your build, buddy?
Perimeter lock, 6'6" perimeter lock, max wingspan, minimum weight, and then we have a video on it actually.
We do.
We have a video on it, but all those things I just said, and then I maxed out everything in defense and shooting, and mostly finishing with a little bit left, not touched and finishing.
Perfect. Make sure you check out our video if you want to know more.
Any advice for finding consistent people to play with in Pro-Am?
I can take that one. Consistent teams to play with in Pro-Am. I saw a comment just yesterday, I think, of someone who tagged us in a screenshot and said, "Thank you, Pacers Gaming, for having your Discord channel. We have a Pro-Am tab. We have a Rec tab. If you're looking for teams or pickup games, join our Discord. Link is down in the description. You can go on and say, hey, I'm a free agent. This is what I play. I'm looking to take it seriously. I'm looking to play for fun." So our Discord is the place to be if you're looking for a team.
Does Nate hold charge when guarding dribble gods? I've seen a lot of players hold charge, wait for the ball handler to make a relevant move, not just the behind the back.
Correct, yeah. So to answer the question, no, I do not. But I do know a lot of people that do and have success with it. I'm personally not uber confident with my ability to time the charges, and if I mess up, my guy's falling down. So I don't think it's worth it for me, but I do see people do it. And it can work.
High risk, high reward in a lot of circumstances, right?
High risk, high reward, yes.
Yep. Okay. Does Nate think the two-way slasher / two-way playmaker is a good lock build?
Say it again. Do I think the what?
Do you like two-way slashers or two-way slashing playmakers for locks?
Oh, they're both good, yeah. So I do think that sort of that play lock hybrid lock build, I personally think that that's the best lock build in the game, so long as you can shoot pretty consistently from the corner. The perimeter lock I think is the second probably, and then the pure lock is probably the worst lock build just because it can't shoot at all. So my answer to that would be yes, I do. I do like those.
Okay.
Next.
Yep.
How do you get into the 2K League?
How do you get into the, oh man, wow. How do you get into the 2K League? You got to DM Cody Parent.
Oh, quit it.
No. So how do you get into the 2K League? Best advice would be find consistent group of people. First of all, you gotta be good. Look in the mirror. Are you good at the game? Do you think that you can compete with, the top 120 whatever, 130 whatever players in the world? Do you genuinely think you're good enough? That's number one. Number two, you need to find people that you can consistently play with and you can get a lot of reps with and get your name out there. Number three, you have to go through the combine process and the trial process and the application process. And obviously, you know all that stuff, but just being really dedicated, I would say. And then, are you good enough?
Yeah.
Is the best advice I have.
And to your point, Nate, just in case people don't know, there is a tryout process every year. Ours just finished. It starts in October, runs through December. You have to win 50 games at a 50% win percentage or higher in Rec and Pro-Am. If you do that, you're entered into the Combine where you play against all the other people who qualified. And you have to play a minimum of 40 games at a certain position. 2K and the NBA look at all the analytics. If you're good enough, you're entered into a draft pool where we get to interview you. And then if we think you fit our team or any of the other 23 teams in our league think you're a good fit, we can draft you. Our draft is coming up here soon in February too. And just to jump ahead real quick, there are many assumptions out there about making the 2K League and what you have to make it. We're doing a video specifically on it, but I can tell you, and Nate can tell you, it has nothing to do with your following. If you have one follower and you are the best player in the world, I will draft you. If you have 1 million followers, but you're trash at 2K, doesn't matter. We're trying to win championships. Nate, honestly, you did not have a big following going into the league, right?
I did not. Not at all. I didn't have a big following at all, and that following you can sort of build on that and create that once you're in the league. So your goal needs to be super sharp. You need to be good, be dedicated, have a passion for it, like care about that sort of stuff to make the league, because there are 1 million people that want any players in the league spots or they want to make it. So you got to care about this stuff, and you got to put the time in, and you got to know how to, do the right stuff that really can impact your chances of making the league.
Good deal. Okay. What else, Spence?
One Red Mike, a member.
What's up, One Red Mike? We see you. We see you there.
He's the one that's pumping everybody up to be members of the channel. So we appreciate that. He's dropping all the emotes. Any plans to have members as special guests in any shape or form?
That's a great idea, and I think with Project A, we can probably think more about that and
Project A.
keep working on it. Yeah,
I think so. I think there's definitely opportunity.
that's a great idea.
Any advice for passing lane steals from Always Goated?
It's a good question. So one, throwing on Inceptor is great. That's going to help a lot. At least bronze. I have mine on Hoff because I'm a lock, but you can go gold. I wouldn't do silver. I'd probably do Hoff, gold, or bronze. And then two, honestly, it's an instinct thing. You just have to sort of have a feel for when you think that the ball is going to sort of come your way. And then you just have to time it right and hopefully get the steal. I know that doesn't directly answer it, but it's just all instinct and anticipation.
Yeah, and I think you develop that by playing the game at a high level consistently and doing things like we just did. Watching back your film, record your gameplay, see different circumstances, because eventually you're going to see patterns. There are things that happen quite often in 2K, and the best players can see it in a split second and react and get in those spaces to get those steals.
Yep.
So I'll try to keep it on some of the defensive-minded questions. Danny Floyd, another member, a Hall of Fame member, as a matter of fact.
My guy Danny.
We just recorded a video with Nate where we're answering that question. So I'm going to leave it for that video. It should come out Monday, but I tell you what, I'll give all members early access over the weekend. So it'll come out Monday, but members will be able to see it first. By the way, if you're not a member already, you can hit the join button down below or the link in the description that I'm going to put in there after this video is over.
Perfect.
All right, guys. What's the best way to guard the hop step?
What's the best way to guard the hop step?
Hop step, yep.
Sure. So the best way I think you can guard it is if it all depends on what the center is. So if the center is a pop center, then you're going to want to switch onto the pop and you want your center to guard the hop step and just play hands up defense. If you get maybe pogo stick on too would help. If you get caught into a situation where a point guard is driving the ball on you, because I have a feeling I know what you guys are thinking about, and then they get that animation where they hop step. It's a guessing game. Sometimes they might go up with it right away, and you have to time it. Otherwise, it's going to be like a 15% contested shot. It's probably going to go in. That's why I think pogo stick helps a lot when you're trying to defend the hop step one-on-one. And then if they go up with it like the second or the third time, you have to time it on one of those. So it's all a guessing game, to be honest with you. But the best way is to get your center in a position where he can just play hands up and he doesn't have to play a guessing game, because whether they go up the first, the second, or the third time, you're not going to make it over a center just standing there, standing tall. Mm-hmm. So it just depends. All situational.
All right, last question here. I see.
We got a lot. We got a lot in chat.
Oh, they're flooding in. The questions are flooding in. So Magda1 said, "Where does Nate stream, and does Nate stream?" So I'm going to throw that one to you, Nate. Let's see what you have to say about that. Let's tell him, Nate, where are you streaming?
It's coming soon. All right, it's been a little bit of a delay. I promise you guys, you have my word on camera. I will be streaming at some point in 2020, I promise. I haven't had the time lately, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but I will. I promise I will start streaming sometime in the near future.
Perfect. All right. We good?
Good? Yeah. We see your questions. We'll probably do videos around your questions. We appreciate everyone that joined. We didn't shout anyone out that was like a lot of people are saying, hey, we watched your guys' content. Rate my build, favorite thing on YouTube.
Awesome.
Thank you all. We appreciate everyone. We appreciate everyone that's also a member and helping support us and keep the lights on in here.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of members, we just recorded a member-only Q&A video.
Yep.
So if you guys have all these questions and you're a member, comment on the member-only videos that post, or in the community tab. You guys can see the community tab on your phone, on the mobile YouTube app, or if you're on a computer, just go over to our channel, community tab. You guys can post questions there as well, and we'll make sure to answer those with our guys in upcoming videos.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a lot of people in this. We got Mag the One, we got Domio, we got Schmuck, we got Michelle Fisher, Powell Home. We got a lot of people in the chat.
They're hanging out. They came to hear the Nate.
Jason Kirkbride. We got a lot of people. Kaidos. I like it.
And if you guys enjoy this, let us know. Smash that like button on this stream so we can definitely do some more Path to Pro episodes. Again, thanks to all of you all for watching all our videos, giving us feedback. Makes us want to make even more content for you guys. We hope you all have a great day. From Spencer and Nate and Cody and all of Pacers Gaming. We'll see you guys in the next one. Go Pacers.
Go Pacers, baby.